Hi, friend. Welcome back to the Raising Wild Hearts podcast. Today, it's just me and you. What I want to talk about today is authentic happiness, which means no matter what's going on around you, no matter what's going on in your life, you can say, I am a happy person. Is everything butterflies and rainbows? No, it's not. But you can authentically say, I am a happy person when you have and embody authentic happiness. The word happiness has been hijacked, and we've been told that happiness means staying positive or keeping it all together, brushing it under the rug, pretending that everything is okay. But authentic happiness is the kind of happiness that holds through heartbreak, it holds through grief, it holds through challenges that life inevitably brings us. In 2020, when my husband lost his job and I started homeschooling our kids, my oldest was going into kindergarten. I had so many moments in those years from like 2020 to 2023 where I was like, I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like, I'm not able to work. And the truth of it is, I was choosing it. I could have sent my kid to the public school down the road and let her figure it out in kindergarten with the teachers wearing masks and whatever was going on then that I didn't want to do. I could have done that. I made a choice to stay at home, to continue to homeschool for 3 years, and to kind of figure it out. That was my choice. And in retrospect, of course, everything's clearer, right? Now it's like, of course. But what I didn't really realize at the time was that I had a choice. But now I can say that, 5 years later, 6 years later, it's easier to say that. And I look back and so much about that hard time I was going through. My husband lost his job. I started homeschooling. We were going through massive financial difficulties. Our relationship was kind of struggling, my husband and I. Then I got pregnant with our third child. So it was so many things. It was like the waves just kept on coming. And it's like, can you believe in the past like 2 years, this, that, and this thing has happened to us? And I can confidently say that I was a happy person in that time. I took my kids to the beach. I allowed myself to just be pregnant. I allowed myself to put work on hold. And I did find that true happiness from inside. Did I want more? Yes. Did I want to be working? Yes. And there's a season for everything. And it was around this time that I found a field called positive psychology. What I realized when I started studying positive psychology is that I had a choice of how to show up and how to make meaning and how to really understand the things on a daily basis that brought me joy. And so in positive psychology, Dr. Martin Seligman's authentic happiness theory says that happiness is actually pleasure, engagement, and meaning. So it's not the absence of struggle. It's not that we don't have challenge in our life. It's that we have the presence, we have purpose, and we have connection with others in our life. And might I add, happiness is a fleeting emotion. It comes, it goes, it's kind of fickle. But if we can stay really, really rooted in presence and purpose, that is what brings about true, authentic happiness. And I have lived this in my own life. And if you want to explore more of happiness, more meaning, inviting more purpose into your life, really coming from a place of service and creativity, I made something for you called Do the Thing. It is a powerful 3-part miniseries where we're going to dive into happiness, success, doing the thing that has been on your heart for a really long time. You know the one. We all have that thing. And so in this mini series, we go through, and I'm going to hold your virtual hand, and we're going to talk about the science behind it. We're going to talk about the psychology behind it. And we're going to talk about building up the capacity and the confidence and the courage to finally do the thing that your soul is calling you to do. I love this work so much because I believe we can change the world by starting at home in our own minds and hearts. And part of that is the way that we work. Part of that is the way that we show up in service for the ones we love. It's not just mindset work. It's not just, oh, I'm choosing joy today. It's even a layer deeper than that. And it's really the process of becoming, the process that I have lived out in this past decade, right? My personal growth journey started when I became a mom 10 plus years ago. And it was inching towards that way. I was getting little whispers from my heart, from God, from the universe, whatever you want to call it, of Ryann, it's time to grow. And what I didn't realize at the time was that I needed this really, really challenge of a season to call me upward. And it was as if God was saying, like, yeah, girl, you understand that mindset is a big piece of this. You understand that you need to make certain shifts in your life. Let me put you through this season so that you can actually walk the talk. And so that is where I'm standing today. So authentic happiness for me is really aligning my soul work with my human work and really starting to listen to the divine timing that is playing out in my life. And if that means I'm going through a challenging season, letting that be. For those of you who studied hypnobirthing before you had your babies, like I did, they talk about, the waves of the contractions and just like riding that wave. And the better we get at this, the easier it is to be mindful in our lives. And I think there's such a common misconception that mindfulness is like not thinking, or that it's like to stop ourselves from feeling bad. But really what it is just, yes, it's raising your frequency. Yes, it's showing up the best you can be. And also it's still allowing in our life the things that are playing out in front of us, being present with what's real. One of the things that I love to tell my kids and I love to tell myself is that two things can be true at the same time. We can feel two ways at the same time. My grandmother, who was my beloved Grammy, passed away this year in August. And did I grieve? Yes. Do I still grieve? Yes. And there is still this bliss because she lived until she was 98 years old. My uncle in the eulogy said, do you know how many people live until they're 98 years old? I forget I want to say it was 0.2%. Like, think about that. And so missing my grandma, having her death, like allow me to face my own mortality, seeing my mom grieve the loss of her mom. There's that. And there's still this joy. I had weeks and months to go over and visit with her on her deathbed. She was so mentally and emotionally aware up until like the very end. And so really leaning into what's the gift of this and what's the lesson of this in every single thing in your life. Grief and gratitude can share the same breath. That's authentic happiness. It's the capacity to hold both at the same time. So I'm wondering for you, when was a moment that you felt quietly happy? It wasn't noisy. It wasn't a big celebration. It wasn't even hitting a goal that you had wanted to hit. But when you just felt so centered, so you. When was the last time you had a moment like that? And if you can't remember the last time, I want you to create a moment like that in your life and expand it. Make your days 10% more of that. Make your weeks 20% more of that. And that is your North Star. That is the compass telling you where to place your attention. So, one of the questions we can ask ourselves this week is, what in my life already feels like joy? What already feels like happiness? And take that one small thing and expand that one small thing. So instead of asking what will make me happy or how can I be happier, find something that you already know lives inside of you, that glimmer, that glimpse of peace. I hope this is helpful in your pursuit of happiness. And I also want you to know that there's nothing that you need to pursue. I saw something the other day that said your dreams aren't going to chase themselves. And I laughed because I think that's hilarious, because nobody else is going to chase your dreams except for you. And also, it puts us in this mindset, which frankly, we've really been conditioned to believe that we must pursue or chase something else, something out there. And that once we get that thing, then we can be authentically happy. So I don't love the idea of needing to pursue anything, because there's nothing to pursue outside of yourself. There's nothing. Do we want the great job? Yes. Do we want the business that brings so much fulfillment? Of course we do. Do we want to put our art into the world and use our creativity and make the world a better place? Of course we do. But none of that happens without our own happiness and fulfillment coming first. So this week, when you're thinking about where am I now and where am I going, I want you to remember that wherever your 2 feet are standing now, you can build a foundation of happiness right there. I hope this filled your cup. I love showing up and having these chats with you. If you laughed, if you cried, if you got something out of this, definitely follow the show so you can get notified when new episodes come out, and text it to a friend. It's one of the best ways for the Raising Wild Hearts podcast to get in front of more minds and more hearts. Love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. And until next time, go love someone well.